What up, though, y'all? Welcome to the What Up, Though podcast. This is part 2 of our real unfiltered conversation on relationships. Because honestly, one episode just wasn't enough. We had to get our dear friends involved from Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High School, the ones we go way back with, Jeff Scott and Nefertiti Lilly. The first round got deep, but tonight we're going even deeper. We're talking love, growth, heartbreak, healing, and keeping it all the way real, Detroit style. So buckle up, laugh with us, and let's get into it. Let's welcome our family, Jeff and Neff. What up, though? What up, though? Welcome to the What Up, Though podcast. We is killing it today. Killing it out here in these Detroit streets. I want to welcome my friends to the What Up, Though podcast. My boy, Jay Scott, that been with my day one, I should say. I can't even act like you my day one, Jeff, because we've been friends forever. And we know about the beauty of platonic friendships. Me and Jeff and Donnie and Rob, all of us can all say. So I'm glad to have Jay Scott on this podcast. And also my dear friend Nefertiti Lilly, who is a beautiful friend of mine, been friends forever. And she was on the first relationship show. So we got a chance to talk to her and kind of get some little jewels from her. And we just had it. We supposed to have Jerome. If he pop in, Romy Rome, then we gonna let him in. He's supposed to be here. So hopefully he do. But I just want to welcome y'all to the What Up, Though podcast. What up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though?
Thank y'all for coming on. Family.
Yes.
KC family.
You know I gotta start with you. We gotta start with Jeff. You know that. You know we gotta start with Jeff. Because Jeff, I'm gonna tell you, this relationship has been the most beautiful thing. And Jeff, I don't even know if I can describe it, but our friendship started when we were like 13. And we've been friends until now at 50. I'm 51. I think, Jeff, you just 50, right? Because you like a year younger than me. So, ain't you a year younger than me, Jeff?
Stop letting all the swipers know what my age is. Hey, let the swipers know. You know
we coming on here to be raw. This is the truth. We just stripping everything because this is family. But when I say a lot of women have not witnessed having platonic relationships with men, and a lot of times that filter on into y'all relationships. You know what I'm saying? Single people, because they ain't had relationships like I've had with men. You know, and maybe they've had some abusive relationships. And I've been really blessed to have good friends. And you one of them, Jeff. So, you can describe it how you want to, but I think that I have a different perspective on men because of my friends.
Appreciate
and y'all
you.
are a really good example of good guys. And I'm trying to see if I can find a good woman for my good friend because he's a wonderful guy. And I know he ain't looking for that, but go ahead and tell us what you want, Jeff. What you looking for in life or your relationship wise?
Honestly, I really don't look. I keep myself focused on self-improvement at all times. So I'm in that gym right now. It's once a day, 6 days a week. It's about to go up to 2 days a week. Get that vitamin D at that track in me. Try to build myself up to be able to do a plank for about 20 to 30 minutes too inside the sauna. So it's a lot of stuff I'm trying to. Then getting business right, trying to be the best father that I can be. And generally, if love did come my way, I'm not just going to reject it. It's just about everything being a good fit. So I don't look. I just let things happen naturally.
Yes, for sure. That's for sure. But if you was looking, what would be something that you would be looking for? I'm just saying, like, if you had your wish list, you need to put it out there. You get to pick a woman. AI's out there now, so people can make stuff like look like they want to. If you could make that 3D for you, what would it look like?
I would look for compatibility from a conversation standpoint. I don't think that comes with age either. I know some people think it do. You know, I looked at that Chris Rock show, and that was something he said that was funny. He said, shoot, them younger girls cheaper. Older women, you got to fix their roof. So I'm like, man, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, my thing is, you know, if the connection is there, if you two ain't arguing all the time, I think that if you got somebody who all I care about is seeing her happy and all she care about is seeing me happy, then generally both people are happy if you got it like that. So, I mean, that's, so I think that someone who's unselfish, that would really care about the things that are important to me. And you learn those things by asking each other questions.
Yeah,
You
for
got
sure.
you got you got to really have a lot of questions, man. Just period.
Yeah, you should. I'm watching this show. Me and John, my husband John, was watching it. Y'all seen it? It's called Later Dater. It's about older people. It's executive producer is Michelle Obama, and it's older people that's dating, and it is so funny. If y'all ain't watched it, y'all need to watch. It's on Netflix.
I ain't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I'm the corny one that watched it. Oh my god!
But have you guys watched this show called Pop the Balloon?
Yes.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
That one is a trip.
Yeah.
It's ghetto. It's ghetto, but I love it.
Saw it early. Now it's just spin off to a point where so many of them now. I don't keep up with them. But yeah, the first ones I did, I think, because Boosie was on them all the time. That's the first one that I watched. He was seeing like he on one of the first ones I started watching, but now it seems like it's so many. But yep, that show be off the hook.
Right. So the ones that's single on the panel, because I know the ones that's not single ain't gonna say they want to be single. So is that by choice? And that's an individual question for y'all. Is that by choice, or would you like to have a compatible person in your life or companion?
You're asking that for each of us?
Yeah.
Let the young lady go first. Ladies first.
Don't know. Me personally, I would like to have a companion in my life because being, it's good being single, but it's also good having a companion in your life, because I like to travel, hang out, going with, travel and do certain things or whatnot, and a lot of times, you may be, like a lot. Some of my friends, especially family, especially a lot of them who are married, they do a lot of couple stuff. Yeah, and they're like, "Girl, come out," and I'm looking like, "Look, a lot of times I don't feel like being a fifth wheel,
exactly,
a third wheel." Well, you know what I'm saying? So it's always good to have a companion with you, somebody you like, somebody you want, truly want to be with and date and all that good stuff to be with, because a lot of times. I'm single. Hey, like I say, I'm single. I get lonely sometimes. My bed get lonely sometimes. But right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not sitting up here gonna be hopping from bed to bed.
Doing everything.
Or have a man hopping in my bed all the time, or whatever. No, the case may be. So I'm not that kind of person at all. But
sometimes I get lonely. Like the time.
That's what's up.
Sometimes I get lonely when it's late at night by the time.
I already know the Rob answer because he is in love with himself.
That's true, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's a lot of aspects of relationships that we don't really think about. I think that we think about the good points of it and the companionship and traveling and all of that stuff. But a relationship is only as strong as your ability to get through stuff when stuff ain't right, when stuff is boring, when it ain't no traveling. If that money gone, is you out. I also see a lot of relationships that put the kids first. My mother put my father first. What I see happen a lot when people put kids first is you'll have a married couple and they put their kids first. And then once the kids get grown and they move out the house, those two don't have a connection anymore. And a lot of times those couples end up getting divorced a year or two after them kids moved out because they made the whole life and relationship about them kids and they forgot to date each other. They forgot to still have their time about each other. The kids are dependents. Your job is just to develop them into adults. Right. And as men, it's a lot on us as far as what we bring. Usually when we get into a relationship, we are expected to bring a lot of things to the table financially. Whereas, so if we want to save money, you want to be single. If a woman want to save money, she get in a relationship.
Exactly.
So that's just a different side to the spectrum. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Not saying who's right or who's wrong. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? So that's all. I just think people need to think about that before they jump into that good part. Because once that newness wears off, then that's what's really there now.
Right.
Yeah, and what you hit on with that, you know, putting your mom put your dad first thing, you know, that's probably hard for a lot of women, though, because it's when you say it that way, it's like, you know, you don't want to think, yeah, the kids are the kids and, you know, they're going to be okay. Not saying they last, like you don't care about them, but it's just general things that can be done to show, you know, that he is first, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do that, I believe, if you focus on it and then not take away from the kids, because I think that's what maybe women, and I'm just showing y'all as women can say, but you would say like, that's why they kind of, you know, fret from that or like feel like it's, what you mean, you know, I'm putting you, you know what I'm saying, before the kids, you know, it's not that you not doing nothing for them, but there's ways you can go about it where he also can feel like he first.
Jeff dad and like our dads and everything, it's come from that generation where they was in charge and leading the house, the head of the household. And I think it's not saying I ain't trying to put down this current generation, but it ain't as strong of a backbone. And so my mother's like that too. She's always catered to her husband and been a good wife and you know, and put him first and things like that. He ate first and stuff. But it just kind of receding each generation, it seemed like to me.
Well, you know, when you said that, it's one thing I do want to put in perspective with my parents. And, you know, everybody in the state of Michigan know my mother and father. My father was laid off, and he got laid off from Chrysler rather quickly. And he was laid off for over 10 years. And it's not a lot of women that's going to stick by their man with no job and no income for 10 years. As opposed to that, my mom showed him how to cook. They got that catering business going. She brought him into the latchkeys. Then they start putting kids in another room, and he was watching the kids. He wasn't as good with the kids as she is, but she brought him in. And never once did I ever in my childhood hear one argument about them, you know, him not working or finances. And I'm talking about we had, you know, roaches and mice, all of that stuff, you know, like anybody else in the hood. And even with all of that stuff going on, my father was still treated as the head of the household for 10 years with no job. So I grew up in that setting, which makes me think that regardless to how financially secure I can be now, and I'm blessed, but I don't take it for granted. I would look for somebody if I got in that same situation, would she leave me? And that's real difficult to find. You know, my mom was a trooper and he was the head, period. It never, ever changed. And they still had their date nights. When that room closed, they wasn't there. Me and my brother ain't get no answer when hey, Ma, wasn't no answer. They made sure that they kept their time with each other and they did that. So that's what I grew up on. So my perspective on some things is a little bit different.
Yeah, it is.
And they still married. They've been married for over 50 years. They've been married over 50 years. You know, they just celebrated their 50th, going on their 51st now. Yeah, so they've been doing their thing.
It's the foundation of, I believe, what they come back from and what their parents and what they saw and what you know, that was instilled in, like Helen was saying, like men then, where, you know, most of the men we talk about now saw it differently, you know. So I think that's maybe why there's a change from that, and probably really won't ever see that come back a lot for men. I don't know. Maybe you will. I'm not saying it ain't nobody
not in this country. No. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely to a different level when you talk about the things that we put our focus on nowadays. It's, you know, I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna speak for the married. I'm gonna speak for the married people real quick because I think it's important to, just because you marry, don't mean that you can't talk about marriage. And a lot of times when people are married, they kind of fear saying how they feel. And I'm not one of those people, thank God. But I think the way I would describe my marriage and why it's successful is because in my mind, I'm a married single person. And if you never heard that, because I have a husband that trusts me and that don't question me, I can go out with my friends to comedy clubs and hang out to midnight and go over Jeff's house with my son. And if I have too much to drink, if I were to have too much to drink, I can stay over there and my husband will be trusting of that. Not everybody has that, but right. I do believe, and I thank God for that. And that makes me love my husband even more because he trusts me. So, but I do sometimes, not consciously, but I may take that for granted, if that makes sense. So I think I'm guilty of that because I got a lot of good friends and I be hanging with y'all. Y'all always got something going on. Me and Neff was just at Punchline last week. So, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard, you know, we got a lot going on. So if I didn't have a husband that was accepting of that, then I wouldn't be able to have the life. And I do recognize that. My ex, y'all know all of my ex-boyfriends, it wasn't none of them. I wouldn't, you know, I'm saying they was cool with y'all, but I don't know. I don't know if it would be the same.
Well, I think that, you know, a couple of points I want to make based off the stuff you said. First off, just an observation. I think there's so many people where I see such a disconnect is when people don't agree with each other, you know, and what a perfect situation looks like. What's perfect for you and your husband ain't necessarily what's perfect for somebody else. Yeah, exactly. I know people that's been swinging, that's been married for 35, 45, 50, 60 years swinging. It's people in poly situations that are doing their thing. You got people that's been super into the religion and the church. I'm just one to say whatever works for you is what works. I just think that barrier of communication. So I'm always curious that since you say what you might take for granted, you know, do you ever sit back and ask him, you know, questions like, you know, where do you see each other in the next 5 years? You know, is there something you would like to see us do as a couple that we haven't done yet? How do you feel about our intimacy? Is there, you know, something important that you feel like we don't do or talk about enough? Is there anything that in your past that you're afraid to share with me? You know, I think that there's so many different questions that we don't sit down and ask. Or, like you just said, hey, have you ever felt taken for granted in our relationship? Yeah. Are you happy with how we spend our time together?
Right.
You know, so these are just questions that we don't ask, you know, our mates says, no matter how long we've been together. You know, you need to ask those level of questions and you'll be surprised at some of the answers that you might get, you know, but that's just how I look at it. And I think that whatever happens within that house, hey, that's on them two people, as long as it worked for them. Because
that's a good way to look at it though, because then you ain't judging. It's like, look, you do what you do. And I try to live my life free of judgment too. And know that I might not agree with that situation, but I just don't agree with it. And I think that's why I've been where I have in life because I look like that. So, Rob, what you got going on?
Yeah, you know, I'm just sitting in the back trying to let y'all flow.
Rob, so I know that you are so in love with yourself. That's why you don't want nobody. Nobody can compare to you. So that's why you are solo. I know this, but tell the rest of the audience why that you prefer to be single.
I necessarily prefer, you know what I'm saying? It's a I don't mind thing.
I'm agree with that. I totally agree with that.
You know, but I mean, if I had the choice, then I'll probably be married. But it
you
ain't
think
that
so?
easy.
Okay.
You've been down that road.
Either you do this or you do that or you die and shit. I'm like, damn, okay.
Damn.
You've been down that road before,
but it's like, I mean, I mean, I mean, like I said, I was married before, and you know what I'm saying. And when marriage is good, they good. When they go bad fast and shit. And sometimes, you know, it's tough.
I
You
know,
know,
like
Do you
it's
see yourself getting married again if you found the right person? Rob?
that's a good ass question. If
You
I,
said it's good,
shit,
huh?
I mean, hell yeah, I probably would. I'd be married if I
Well, my
found the
question,
right
Rob,
one.
is as you are out here meeting women, what are some of the downsides of what you run into as you go out and you meet women that you could potentially try to talk to? What are the things that you're seeing often that you think are the things that's making you more apprehensive, or that you keep running into that you don't like, you know, in the women that you meet?
That's a hell of a question, Jeff. But you know what I'm talking about. You gonna feel me on this one. It's just like, okay, um, everybody out here, we all grown. You know what I'm saying? People get their money and whatever they say. You know what I'm saying? But it was some of the little stuff. It'd be like, okay, you know, let's hang out, and then you go to pick her up, and you like, can you pay the babysitter? I'm like, and
The
then,
shrimp girl, the
how
crab
much
girl.
I gotta get a babysitter?
right.
$50. Damn,
So, I want to
$50.
ask you, so how would you respond to that? When she asks you, can you pay for the babysitter? How do you respond to that?
I'm giving you some real shit. I was really in this shit. It was like, all right, can you give me 50 or something? And I'm like, look, shit. I done came all the way over here. So I said, look, I give you $50. So I
Hmm.
gave her $50. I wasn't happy.
Well, okay, you know,
You
I'm
know what I'm
glad that
saying?
you
But I
said
mean,
that. I'm
would I
glad you
do it
said that.
every single time I hang out with you?
I'm so stupid.
Nah, nah.
She
And
ain't
like I
asked
said,
you for it. She ain't asked you for it. She just said, "Give me $50 for the babysitter." She just
I mean,
asked, you
something
know.
like that. It wasn't like an aggressive conversation. You know,
Of
she tried to
course.
say it real sweet, like, you know. And
Mhm.
when I pull up, bro, but you know what I'm saying? It's just little stuff like that. And then you got to be like, you know, is she trying to keep with me because she think I'm rich or I got a bag or something? You know what I'm saying? Not to say nobody on the phone, we not poor, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like,
Yeah, I
I
know what
mean,
you're saying.
You know what? You know what, Rob? I want to take this switch what you're speaking on somewhere right now. So let me
Mhm.
ask you this. Let's say you meet a young lady. It's time for a first date. You call her. You let her know that you have availability on Thursday and Saturday. Does either of those days work for you? She said, no problem. Saturday, yes, okay. Let's plan Saturday at 5. We'll go to Eddie V's or whatever you decide. You can pick someplace a lot more moderately priced, whatever. Just someplace to sit down and chill. You're supposed to meet there at 5 o'clock. It's 5:15, and she, well, 5:10, and she texts you that she's running another 10 minutes late, and she walks through at 5:20. How do you respond to that?
oh, so she about 20 minutes late.
She about 20 minutes late. How do you respond to that?
Well, it's our first date. I'll
First
be
date.
a little slightly reluctant, but I wouldn't be like I'm done with her. But I'll be a little upset. I don't think I'll make a big ass deal over it.
So what would you do?
Me personally, you know what I'm
What
saying? I
exactly
might
would you say or do?
honestly on the first date, I probably wouldn't say shit to her about it.
Okay, this is something that I'm hearing from
You,
you.
you know what I'm saying?
That,
That's just
that
me. I
I
mean, the
got you.
reason I wouldn't say nothing to her about it is just like I'll chalk that one up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna just straight up judge her off of being 20
One
minutes
time.
late for a date. On right
Okay,
now, I'm not gonna hold you accountable for it because you don't know what my standards really are and shit.
Right.
So I'm cool.
okay,
Right.
I'll take it one time. But I wouldn't even say nothing to her because I don't want you to change your ways. I'm
okay.
not trying
Well,
to. I'm not trying to meet somebody and start changing your ways. I want you to be. If you always gonna be late, I can still deal with you if you always late. But I know,
Okay.
at least I know how to deal with your ass.
At least you
Knowing
want
that
to
you
know.
are, if
Okay.
that's her
Well,
only motherfucking flaw and shit, I could deal with a motherfucker that, oh, your only flaw is this bitch 20 minutes late. I'm like, I can fuck with the motherfucker.
You gotta change
well,
the
let, let
time
me, let
for
me, let, well,
her.
let's just think about this.
Blue
Okay.
Grease.
And this is what I'm trying to
Oh,
get
shit.
to.
My
The
fault.
fact that you said that you gave the chick the $50 for wanting a babysitter and that you wouldn't say anything about a woman who's 20 minutes late. The one commodity that you can never get back in life is time. You
Time.
built yourself up to be a very respectable guy. Now, I do feel that as a man who's expected to provide and to lead, to have a very strong backbone and take care of things rather early instead of later. Because if she's late consistently, and then you take 5 or 6 months to finally say something about it, now you look like you're being a little bitch complaining.
Yeah, sure do.
So what happens is you don't have to go out like, man, you late, da da da. This is how you do that. When she walks in late, she's 20 minutes late. I give it 15 minutes and that's it. After that, I'm out tops. But you'll say, okay, you 15 minutes late. Okay, first round of drinks on you for being late. In other words, I'm not complaining. I'm not making it a big deal. I'm laughing. I'm joking. But I'm letting you understand that my time's valuable and that there is some type of penalty. Because if I'm late, I would gladly
Yeah,
buy the
I
first
agree.
round of drinks.
I
But
agree.
it's no different than if you're there and she's on her phone a whole lot. You look rather feminine to sit down and say, why you on your phone? Or get out your phone. But it looks a little better to say, hey, you know what? It looks like you got a lot going on. You want to reschedule?
Right. Yeah,
But
she
if
takes
you
it a
check
little
that
more serious.
early, when you check that early, then you're not going to have her coming back to you no more asking for you to pay for a sitter because you respectfully checked it the first time. She's not going
Right.
to come back late no more because she doesn't want to have to buy a round of drinks, but she knows that. And she knows that you're going to say something if she's on her phone too much, but you did it in
Yeah.
a much more masculine way than coming at her real hard. And if she has an
Yeah.
issue with that, she ain't the one. Just ride.
Right. That sound perfect to me because I mean I feel like time is valuable too, and I'm always a stickler for time, and
The
make
dating
sure
game seemed
I
pretty.
respect your time.
The dating game seemed pretty serious out here. I mean, I've been away from it. I've been
Yeah, I'm
married for
glad I ain't got to
17
deal with it
years.
though. I ain't gonna lie.
I've
I
been
ain't gonna
married for
lie.
17 years. I've been knowing my wife for 22, 23 years, something like that now.
Wow.
And I don't know. When I hear and I listen to our age group talk about dating and things like that, it'd be like, wow, I'm like, man, it's like serious, like to a point. Like I think what Rob Moore point was, we don't know what happened to Rob. We lost him.
Why you had to say something?
But
Welcome to the What Up
he
Though
was saying like
podcast,
that wouldn't be a big deal to him. But I
the
but I
Robert Lake
see
Show.
I also see it from a different perspective because I obviously talked to Jeff a lot. And it's like, that is a way to initially let somebody know if you're going to do it, be right up front.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's, the space he's been in his life right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is
you
important.
wasn't always like that, Jeff.
Yeah, and we all went through stuff like that,
matured
right?
to that. You weren't always like that.
Yeah, but I had to put something in perspective. I'm like, wait a minute. It's real easy to just sit up and all you got to do is go to the date and figure, do I like him? Do I not like him? What he wearing? And then if it's a real good date, okay, what we doing next? Keep the good times rolling.
Right.
So if I had to sit down, put something nice together for what we were going to do, then what we were going to do after, if we go to someplace and we go to the aroma lab and we make some good perfume together, leave there and go horseback ride or something. Like I'm putting an elaborate day
I always
together.
wanted to do that aroma lab too.
It was cool. I've been there, but you putting all of these things together to do. Your only job was to get dressed and be on time. I gave you three options of time. That was your only job, to be on time. I had to do everything else, and I'm taking care of everything else. So, I mean, if someone told me that they're going to take care of a date, I'm going to be on time. Woman tell me I'm taking you, I'll be there at 6. I'm there at 5:45. I'm there.
Mhm.
That's my
Mhm.
only job. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there on time.
Yes,
So
for sure. That's like your nephew. He on time too. He always gonna be on time. He said when he go to the thing, he gonna make sure he there on time. I
hey,
said that's
wait,
right.
hey, where my girl at though? I ain't heard her chime in on this. I'd love to hear her perspective.
Me?
What's up, man? Yeah.
Yes,
What's up?
yes. I want to hear your perspective on, because I heard you say you like to travel and you would like a mate and to have a good time, but when it comes down to etiquette on a date and somebody being late or some of those things, what are your thoughts on that? And what are some of the things that you feel that you come across that turn you off from
Yeah,
dating
like
and
deal breakers.
men, like deal, yeah, for men. I'd love to hear your perspective.
Okay, now when it comes down to punctuality on a date, I am very stickler on that as well. Like you said, if I'll give a now see I'll give a person 15 minutes to be late. And if this person does not call me to let me know that they're late or give me a reason as to why they're being late, then I'm out.
No, that's right now.
I had a girl that was 30 minutes late. I told her I was still there. No, I'm in the back. I had been gone.
Right.
I said, just keep going through. I'm in the back. I'm in the back. Go ahead. I said, go ahead to the bar, order whatever you want. I'm in the back. I'm gonna come up front and pay for all of it. You good. You good. I was out. I
You
was
ain't
been
right,
gone.
Jeff.
Like, man, get out of here.
I'm gonna tell you, there was one time. Ooh, this had to been not that long ago. I had met up with a friend of mine, male friend of mine. He was like, "Nothing, let's go out or whatnot." I said, "Okay, cool." Well, I supposed to be meeting no male friend. Well, I say it like that. So we met up at a scheduled a place to meet, and then I called. Like with me, I'm always, "Hey, we still doing this today or what?"
Right.
He said, just to verify. He said, "Yeah, we're still gonna do it." I said, "Okay, cool." It's like when that time approached, I called him. I said, "Are you on your way?" No response whatsoever. No response. So I said, "Okay. Well, let's see." Well, then, so what I did was I waited till the last minute to try to get myself together. So then he calls me and was like, "Neff, I got a lot going on, blooga, blooga, blooga." Not all of a sudden, he got a lot going on. So I said,
he was on his way, though.
huh?
He was on his way, and now he got a lot going on.
Now he has a lot going on, or whatever the case may be. So I told him, I said, well, you know what? I do believe that you really did not want to meet me at this particular location. And you knew you had a lot going on before I talked to you. But
Right.
you want to drag, when you don't drag this out or whatnot. So I told him, I said, well, this not gonna work for me. So then he was like, no, I'm making up to you. My thing is 2 strikes you up. Okay. It ain't gonna be 3 strikes. This is gonna be 2 strikes for me. So he was like, okay, I'm making up to you. So then I had him playing something. Okay. So he planned it, and it was the same scenario. So I told him, I said, this not gonna work for me. It's not gonna work for me. I don't know what you got going on. Some of these guys are dating multiple women, whatever the case may be. I don't care what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, my time is valuable.
Yeah.
Respect my time, and I'm gonna respect your time as well.
Yeah.
You're not gonna sit up here and have me all dialed up, and then I'm not going nowhere. I'm tired of that stuff.
Hey, we got more days behind us than we got forward. Nobody got time.
Yeah,
got time to waste.
That stuff.
Yeah, we don't waste time. I do agree with that. But you guys are a lot more lenient than me, because some people think I'm a little strict. But if let's just say First off, 15 minutes, I'm only doing that the one time, and that's if, you know, you buy the drink. And yeah, that's another thing. And then and I do realize things happen. I understand that things do happen, and someone respectfully calls you and something happen, that's cool. But if someone cancels, I don't care what the reason is. I don't care if your mama's sick. I don't care if your kid is sick now. I don't care what it is. It could be the most legit reason ever. I'm okay with that. I will not put another date together. To me, if that person's interested, they got to put the date together.
Yep.
You make it up for me now. If you cancel for whatever reason, I don't care what it is, you have to put a date together or I'm not going.
Right.
It's just that simple. And I never break that rule. I don't break it. Never do. So doesn't matter. And
Exactly.
I only go out and put together 3 dates tops before I push it back on her now. If she don't put something together, I don't care if it's a picnic at a park with sandwiches. If she don't put something together, we won't see each other no more. I'm not doing it. You get 3 tops.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Jeff, because I'm going to tell you, women, you got to be creative too. And everything don't need to cost a lot of money. But you do need to do things. If you got a special man in your life, that's rare for a lot of people to have someone that's dedicated and reserved just for them. And if you do have that, then you need to treat them as such. And I do picnics in my house, and I probably spend like $10, and most of the stuff we already got in the house. And I lay out my blanket and, you know, candles lit and everything. And I got a little picnic basket, and you can get one at Home Goods. And I'm telling you, just have your time where you do creative things. I had a movie in my yard with the little pop-up thing. Just try to do things that you know that's going to keep the love spark. I mean, I want to be desired. I think every woman does. And so you have to be desirable. You have to keep yourself up. You have to look nice. You have to take good care of your hygiene. And you have to be worthy of that, you know? And so it's important for that too, because I mean, when you got good caliber men like Jeff and Rob and Donnie ain't on the table no more, but you know, if you got good quality men like that, then it's important. I ain't saying you got to live your life, but you should want to do those things. Your self-care is important. And I have to take care of myself for me and for the people that I love, that I know that's going to look at me too. I'm not just selfish just to do it for me. I don't just get my nails done for me. I get my nails done for me and my man.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Like you say, the perspective of just being married, I mean, you know, and going through it is, you know, you got to deal with, obviously, you got to deal with everything. Like Michelle Obama said it best. I'm going to be 80 one day, you 20, the next day, I might be 20. You know, and that's just kind of what it's been. You keep building, and then it's then got to a point for me even too, where it's like, I'm so stuck on the success of just like, I want to be here and say we've been together, married 50 years. You know, I want to say that, you know, I want to be proud of that, you know. So that's what that's the thing. You got to have I've learned through this that you got to have the stamina. You're going to grow and learn a lot about each other in time. And that's what really finds somebody. The perspectives that obviously with being single, to have those strong standards like you have. But somebody you might meet one day could be an hour late, and you go accept that from that one.
You ain't found her yet. Care. She just came, man.
You ain't found her yet, because what I'm saying is it's not enough time to say the first date. You know, if you really found somebody and that didn't happen on the first date and you with her, and later on something like that happens, you didn't build something a little bit more if you didn't took time to be with her. So now what I'm saying is you would be more willing to accept certain things. Right. But of course, on the first date, you know, you can be pretty hard and critical because you're looking at, because what I say with that is even if they, not everything is going to stay the same that's going to happen on the first date anyway, right? I mean, let's just be real. Everyone's putting on something. If you're really trying to meet someone and you had a feeling when you first go out to meet somebody, everybody putting on their face, everybody doing this. The real thing, if you really going to be around this person, they're going to start seeing you when you don't got your, P's and Q's on, right? So it's going to fall at some point anyway. So that's how I look at the date part of it. Everybody puts so much emphasis on that first date, but it's really about, and I get it, you got to get past that first date. Interviews, I get it. First impression is key. I get it. I'm not saying that. But the reality of it is, it really going to come through time, through some more time to see, do I really want to deal with this person? Am I okay with this, or am I going to go through that with them? So,
but Jeff want to invest, return on his investment, and he is not the kind of person that's going to invest a lot of time. So if you got to be flexible. So, like, we might invest 2 months. Jeff might not do that.
Right.
No, I'm not doing that.
He's not.
See, we know that, Donnie. Jeff ain't
no, I'm not saying that you would do that for everyone. I'm saying there may be that one person that you feel,
like,
you have discussed that. There's been other things. I'm not going to go into all that detail for your business, but I'm saying we've had our conversations, Jeff, and you've given me examples of one. Oh, like, yeah, you know that, but it's this. It's always that one thing, right, that may throw it off. So they might have been just in that category of, oh, okay, I might let this one in a little bit more than what I made for the other. You could be honest about that. You have, but then it might be something else. So all I'm saying is, it do take time to really know if you're going to really. But that first date thing, is key for you. I mean, I don't have anything when I listen to how your standards are with it. I can understand because of other things you've shared with me and experiences from when you out here dating with chicks and all of that.
But I think that what I've really turned the corner on now is I'm not so quick to go to the most elaborate places so early. Like, if you can't go to the gym with me and we have a gym date, and then at the end of the gym date, they got a cafe right downstairs, and we can go in there and we can sit down and talk and eat right there in the gym. I can sit down and cook a meal, and if you don't feel comfortable coming over, we can meet someplace public and sit down and eat. But the reality is, if you don't want to be around me when I'm not spending money, then why should I want to be around you when I am? That's just my thought process. So I just look for, like I said, that person that if we only together when we spending money, then I'm only gonna call you the 1 or 2 times a year I feel like spending money. But I just you end up looking back at it. When I was out there really dating heavy, I don't date as heavy as I used to. I was looking at at least 15 women that I literally only went out with 1 to 2 times tops and never saw them again. And with just those 15 women within like however 5-month span or whatever it was that with those, it was so much money that was spent. It was $400 on this date, maybe $300 on that one, $500 on this one, and I've never seen these women ever again, ever. So I'm like, why am I spending money on people that I'm never, ever going to see again? I'm never seeing them again. So I don't even say that they use me. I felt like I used myself because I didn't put things in dating into perspective. I never blame women for the choices that I make, the places that I make, and who I decide to spend time with and what I do. So that's why, in all honesty, a lot of the things that we see, I actually do blame fellas on it. And Donnie was the one that got me seeing that a lot more, because some of the things we complain about, I feel like, well, if what guys weren't doing it, then they wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
If this girl done went out with guys that spent $500 for her first date for the last 10 guys she talked to, that becomes an expectation now. Because that's what guys have done. If you meet a girl and all you talk about is what I can do for you, then don't get mad when that's all she expecting when she's dating you now, because you set the tone for that. So, you got to also look at the man that you are and be what it is that you want to be respected for. You got to set that tone, period.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I agree with that. That's, I mean,
Yep.
it's relationships is a difficult subject because there's so many different types of relationships. There's so many different rules and ways people run their household, and so many different things that people are into. And like I said, you know, you just have to respect everybody lane. And I think that Jeff, with you're a big guy and your presence is really big, and you're tall, you got a big house, everything got to be bigger for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you have a lot of things, not for anybody else to enjoy, but because you got to
You
live.
enjoy.
You can't be in that big frame and walk through no little bungalow, and you know what I mean. You need a big old house with some
But what's
villas and stuff.
interesting
So
about
everything
that?
you attract that. You attract,
Yep.
you
Yeah,
know,
you're right, Ellen.
and you
I
attract,
enjoy the finer
and
things in
you
life.
gift,
I
and you
admit that.
gift, and you gift people experiences. And so when you're that type of person, every time everybody has talked about you, even on this show, we've had many people talk about you, and it's been an experience. You know, they say, Jeff, man, I know when Jeff did it's an experience. Being your friend is an experience. Going
Yeah,
to if anybody has ever invited to your dinners, it's an experience. So you give people experience. That's your like love language. You know what I mean?
No, I
It's
can't.
acts of
Sister,
kindness.
it's everything big is what you said. That's my
Everything
guy
big.
there.
So he attract big.
It.
You attract people that
But what?
they want a man that's gonna take care of them and show them around and take them to the auto show and spend $5,000 for them on a date, because they see that everything big. They want to be a part of that bigness.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, hard when you want somebody to not be about money when everything in your life costs a lot of money. Everything,
Yep.
because
When you met him at
you
the
worked
club,
hard for that.
you had the ice on.
well,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
worked
I
hard.
mean,
You worked hard for that, though, Jeff. You worked hard.
I do, and I agree with what you're saying. My thing is, as hard as I work for things, it can be taken away tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, like this ain't my first time, being in a financial position that's, a blessing. I was in that before. I stayed in the house off the water. It was cold. It was over in that Greyhaven complex. And it had a whole yacht inside the garage that sat. I had a boat dock inside my garage with the water coming in. So whenever we wanted our best shot to get some that night, we brought the women in through the garage because we always saw them looking at it, and we would always be hitting each other five like, "Oh yeah, we gonna get it tonight, boy."
Right.
So so it was like that. But the thing is, when any type of hooping contracts or any type of job stuff that was going on, when everything was gone, then my money was gone. Oh man, girls treated me like I had a disease. Like, oh, don't talk to him, girl. He got that broke. So he got that broke, girl. So it made my perspective change to where I went back to the drawing board. I got 2 master's degrees, started working in IBM and IT, and selling hardware, software, and services as a consultant. And, just, took my career in a different path and did a couple of things. And now once I built myself up again, I realized that I don't take for granted that I'm always straight. Stuff could be taken. I just would like to know, if it was gone, if it did leave, is she gone too? And that's the thing, because I mean, that's a possibility.
Of course.
It's a possibility. But I know there are some young ladies that say, well, if you're a real man, you would never be like that. And unfortunately, the way I was raised by a woman that wasn't how she got down. My father was always treated as that king of that house, no matter what. So because of that, if I got that feeling, it ain't nothing I wouldn't do for her, because I know
But
that
you
if I
know what?
lost it all, she gonna be
We
there.
should try a social experiment. Because I guarantee you, even if you didn't ever, I was gonna say you should try dating somebody and not bringing her to your house. But even if you didn't bring her to your house, she gonna still see you, and you're gonna be well dressed. You're gonna see your car, and it's big and extravagant. You gotta have a big vehicle to transport a lot of man. So I get that. You know what I'm saying? So she gonna see that. So I can't even do a social experiment and say, well, maybe if you could. I mean, even if she just see your car, she would be like, those type of women,
which car?
Dollar signs. You know how you hear something about their head with the cartoons, and it be the stars, it be the dollar signs. And she like, if it's a sack chaser, back in the day, who's sack chasing? Sack chaser, she gonna be like, oh man, look at that.
Sack chasers, gold diggers. They used to call them gold diggers.
Right.
The gold diggers.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody is looking for that next
old school there, boy.
That coming.
That was old school.
Yep.
If they see that coming, and if they looking like what you want them to look like, and they gonna see that opportunity. Mm-hmm. You ain't looking like you want no librarian that got good credit, and you know what I'm saying, when she take off her glasses, she may be beautiful, but everybody else don't know that she beautiful. You're not really appealing to that type of woman. So only the ones that's beautiful and that's wanting that kind of bag is gonna come for you, Jeff. I'm sorry. I wish. That's
true.
I mean, I would try to take you to like a librarian convention, and maybe you can get somebody that would just, but you are a life person. You're a big-hearted person. You're a big, tall person. You got bigness all through your life. So it's gonna be hard for you to find somebody that's small and that don't need, the things that your life requires.
What's funny is you said a librarian, but I'm a huge historian and religious buff because I study and stuff. I messed around, had the greatest conversation ever with some librarian. I read the Egyptian book. Egyptian Book of the Dead, the African origins of Western religion. I read all that stuff, man. I read. I'm still old school. I read.
Well, maybe that's what you need to be. We need to build a website called Data Librarian. See, that might be a good. We can have a little, a little online little dating app, a Data Librarian. And so, see, I just came up with $1 million idea. But yeah, I just think that that's the issue. And Neff is kind of the same thing too with you, Neff, because you are an electrician. You got a good job, been working for 30 years at your job. It's a lot of things you got. You got your own everything. And so men, sometimes they want a woman to kind of be more submissive and dumb me down. Not that you wouldn't do that, because I know that you would for the right man, but it's hard for him to get that threshold because we had good daddies. So we ain't about letting nobody take advantage of us or getting over on us, because we had good daddies. And when you had good daddies, can't nobody play you like that.
Exactly.
So I think that's part, that may be something. And you might not even want to be married. Like I said, it's parts of me that love being single. And as a married woman, I can admit that. It's parts of me that would love to be single. But then when I go to events and stuff, it's things that I love about being married.
Right.
I for real. It is.
There's something that I looked at, in what you were saying too, just about that. I think that is real important for a lot of men to recognize. Based off of your age, there are certain, because you were saying, well, Jeff, you do big. Well, I actually think that once men hit that threshold of being maybe 40 and up, 45, I don't care if you date a woman within your age range or somebody that's younger, or if you really try to do a Shannon Sharp with 23-year-old, whatever it is you do. The reality is, as a man, when you reach a certain age, there's a certain level of income a woman just expects you to have because you 45, 50 years old. Right. She's not going to look at you and expect you to have certain things at 25. Right. But I don't care if that girl is 23, 29, 35, 40, 45. It don't matter what age, from 23 to 50 years old. If that man is 50, She expects you to have a house. She expects you to have transportation. She expects you to have money saved up. She expects you to be extremely solution oriented and to have the finances to make stuff straight.
Mm-hmm.
She just expects you. That's just the expectation. But she might meet somebody who's 25 and she's okay with him not having certain things. So even if he's 30, it's just, so I think that some of those things that, you say about what somebody might expect, some of those things to me just come with once you are older as a man, period. It's a
Not
certain
at that
level.
level, Jeff. I mean,
Well, it
I
ain't
expect
necessarily
a
got to
man.
be
I
at
get
that
what you're
huge
saying.
level, but it's still, well, I don't know. I mean, it's just,
I'm
those
just saying, if a
expectations be
woman,
heavy.
I know as your friend, and I'm telling you this as your friend and somebody that loves you. I believe when people looking from the outside looking in, when people see you, they see those things. They probably say, "Oh, he might be." Used to play basketball overseas. They probably like he must be a basketball star. I'm sure you get that all the time. Or he hooped, or you know what I'm saying? You have an image.
Yep.
And it don't look cheap. You be even on social media. I mean, to go to, the different things that you go to and the different events you take your daughter to is beautiful. But people got their calculator out and they be like,
your big spirit, your big everything, your big everything, parties,
they got the
everything.
calculator out on you, bro.
That's what she's saying, basically. She's
They
saying it attracts
say, oh,
those
Jeff,
type
Big
of
Jeff,
women who
Big
gonna
Jeff.
expect you to pay $500 on the date, $1,000 on the date, take me on the trip, take me to the auto show, black tie fair with the everything.
Right.
That's what she's saying. Your big spirit,
Right.
your big, and it ain't nothing bad about it because that's love. When we go over there and you have your show, it's love to everybody. But to them, it's a bank.
It's a bank. Yep.
Okay, that's what she basically saying, big fella.
I'm
okay,
just trying to say that,
and you can't run from it. I don't care how much more you
am
explain.
I lying now?
It's just you, and you know it's the truth.
Nobody
That's
never
just
said
what it
all
is.
that.
You know what I'm saying? So that it's just your big. Sometimes it's a good and bad to everything, and that's the bad part that come with your big heart and big everything. Sometimes you're gonna run into these chicks who gonna want this and want that, want you to spin, want you that, and you just. Now you on lockdown with that, and I feel you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
When you roll up and you pull
I had to
up,
give it to you real big fella.
It's hard for me. It's hard for me to have two tall friends, and y'all meet my boyfriends throughout the years, and it's like this is my friend Jeff, this is my friend Donnie. I mean, really, y'all just can't even put it into perspective how that is, though. That's like a lot on anybody. A man don't want to, y'all ain't really to bring. I bet you every father that y'all done met been shorter than y'all.
Yeah, I'm 6'10". Donnie, you 6'8", right? 6'8", 6'10", yeah.
6'7", yeah. 6'7", 6'8", yeah.
Okay, so have y'all ever met anybody that y'all ever dated, father, and he was taller than y'all?
Taller than me? No.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, right.
And Jeff, I'm sure you haven't either.
No, not tall.
Yeah.
I've had some that were close,
it's
but
like,
nothing.
dang. I bet you get that all the time. I'm sure. I'm a big woman. I mean, I ain't as big. I lost a lot of weight, but I'm still kind of tall. I used to be 5'10". I think I'm like 5'9" now. But even as a woman, I'm a bigger stature. And when people meet me, it's like, I'm a big person. You know what I mean? Big personality.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when y'all was meeting fathers back in the day, y'all had to reach out. And y'all don't realize that that's like a big thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's like, wow.
Never paid attention to it. I just in my body, in my mind, I didn't know. I don't know, never knew. I was tall all my life. I was tall through elementary. I just knew I was tall. So it didn't just, you don't think about it like that.
You're right. Y'all ain't even think I was tall.
Only time you think about it is when you see somebody else out and they're your height.
Yeah.
Because that don't happen a lot.
Huh? Y'all ain't never thought I was tall, though, have y'all?
Not really.
Y'all ain't never even considered. That's a shame. Really? I mean, like, people tell me that all the time, really. But around y'all, I ain't tall.
But I get what you're saying because my mom was considered tall, and I never looked at my mom as tall because I went past her. So, but she was 5'9"-ish, 5'9".
Yeah, we
that's
was about to
considered
say, yeah.
tall for a woman, you know.
Yeah,
So
well, she
mm,
wasn't tall, so it's like everybody under
mm,
me is just everybody under me.
I'm just short.
Right. Exactly.
Just short all my
That's
life.
what we is to them. Anybody under them is just short. I'm just playing. I just wanted to give y'all a glimpse of what life was like back in the 90s and late 80s when we was driving in the Dodge Shadow.
Man, remember we loaded up in that Festiva, Donnie? Me, you, Herb, Don, and Aaron. Everybody was 6'5" and above.
Gotta get it
Everybody
right, big
6'5".
fella. It was the red Chevette.
Oh yeah. The
Wow.
Chevette. It was the Chevette,
That's
And
not a
even
Herb,
worse.
Festive. It was the
rest in
Chevette.
peace to my big fella.
That's
Herb
even
had
worse.
the K car from his
Mm.
mom's, remember? The
With the
little
with
the
the
little
with the
K
belt with the
car, the
belt around the
Chrysler
front. The
K.
belt was keeping the fender up front.
Herb it took a belt and pulled up the
The
bumper
front
on the
bumper,
front.
yeah.
You was
You think,
resourceful.
but only Herb would think to do something like that. Like put a belt on that boy. I'm like, what did you thinking? It worked
That's
though.
great. Yeah, right. It was a
No,
good
but
old
yeah, I
days,
remember being
1900.
in the smashed in the little cars and stuff.
But think about relationships that we had. Like, what was y'all first real relationship? Do y'all recall y'all first love? I know you do, Jeff.
I would say, you remember Kim. Kim was
Yeah,
probably my first real
that's what I
one.
was thinking. Yeah,
And I learned so much from that. She was light
yeah.
years ahead of me and where I was at. And I wasn't ready for all of that. She had a beautiful family, though,
Mhm.
father. I think that the one
Yes.
thing that bothers me to this day that is so crazy is I don't think her father knows how much I looked up to him and how much the things that I learned from him and that I paid attention to has impacted me and my path into adulthood now.
Hmm.
Part of me working at GM and liking working at GM is that's what he did. He
Mm.
he worked at GM. I think he was an environmental specialist or something, and could tell if the land was good for you to be built on or something like that. But he instilled a lot of things, and he was talking about how everybody wanted to be the HNIC. So now,
Right back, y'all.
and he looked down at that, and now I hear so many people that are
Mm.
entrepreneurs. Like I automatically know the conversation how it's gonna go when I meet somebody new. I always hear the
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, and the worst reason to be an entrepreneur is because you don't want nobody telling you what to do. Or I got to be in charge. If you're not passionate about
Yeah,
what you do, it's not
for
going to be
sure.
successful. You got to
For
be
sure.
passionate, no matter what
Mhm.
it is. If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be successful. You got to want it to succeed more than you want to breathe. That's how you're
Yep.
successful. And
Yep.
so I never had a chance to talk to him and let him know just how impactful he was. And she got remarried, and I think that situation was what was meant for her and meant for her. And I'm real
Mhm.
happy for that situation. But that father, I don't think to this day that Mr. Underwood knows how much I appreciated the things that
Maybe
he
one day you
instilled
will
and
tell
taught
him,
me.
Jeff. You think you? I hope one day you're able to tell him.
Now that she's moved on, I stay away from that whole situation.
I'm saying you never know. You might run into him at
Now,
the grocery.
if I was to happen to bump into him naturally, I
Mhm.
would tell him like, "Hey, man, I learned a lot from you that really may help make shape me into the man that I am today." I appreciate him for
That's
that.
what.
Yeah, he's great guy. Seriously, real good guy.
Who was your first love now?
Ooh, wee. Let's see. I'm gonna go back.
Flavor
You
Flav.
got to go back to the first.
I'm gonna say it's a guy named Andre. He was a good guy. Okay.
What age was
Um,
this? How old was you?
I was actually, you know what? I was actually 19 when I met
Oh,
this
okay.
guy.
Okay. That's a good.
And
That's about the age when you find your first 18, 19.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like 19 years old. We went how I met him was I met him at Wayne State. Met him
Okay.
at Wayne State. And he worked at where he worked at? I forgot where he worked at. But you know, like we went out. He's an East Side brother. I used to like, the West Side guys, but he's the East Side guy.
Not the West Side now.
Yeah, I like the West Side guys better. But
Mile.
But he was the East Side brother. He had a good head on his shoulder. His parents were, oh my God, his parents were like amazing.
I hear that a lot.
His parents were amazing. And his parents sort of kind of remind me of my parents because he grew up in a 2-family household, just like I did. You know what I mean? And his mom accepted me, and she was like, "Oh my God!" And I told him, I said, "Man, oh my God, man, I love your mom. Your mom is the bomb." You know what I mean?
How long was y'all together?
I'll say about 2 years.
2 years.
I'll say about 2 years, because he kind of came into my life where my mom was sick, and he kind of like lifted a lot of weight off my shoulder and kind of comfort. He was like, he was in the need of comfort when I need that comfort. He was there. He was like,
right.
He was like, "Neff, don't worry." But he was like, "I understand your mom's sick. Blooga blooga. You need me, I'm there for you." And he was around my family. My family, oh my God, my family loved this man. Okay. Wow. Oh my God. I mean, they really truly did. They were like, "Oh, he's a good guy." And stuff.
What happened? Why y'all break
up? I swear I was gonna ask what happened.
I do believe what kind of broke us up was we spent too much time together. We didn't have that time, that space that we truly needed with one another. Because
we drew apart, like.
Yeah, we did. We kind of grew apart because I told him, I said, "Well, you know what? We never really truly got to know each other as a person, our spaces and stuff like that. It was always he the pencil, I'm the eraser, he the pen, I'm the ink, and all this other. It was like it was like we never really truly had the time to
your own individuality.
Our individuality. It was always, "Oh, I'm in love. We think you in love, blah blah blah." But he has moved on, married. He's on his second marriage and everything because his first wife died of cancer.
Oh,
yeah, his first wife died of cancer, so he's on his second marriage and everything, and he's like, of course I don't talk to him. I just really talk to him through Facebook.
Okay.
Like, "Hey, how you doing? Blah, how family? We'll say things of that nature. But besides that, he's with his second wife. They travel together. They do all kinds of stuff together. And I'm
right. And you don't have no interest in him.
I said to myself, like, "Ooh, I should have kept that." But hey, you know how that goes.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Sure. I don't know if I would say my first love. I would say my first boyfriend was Anthony. Jeff know both of them. He know both of them anyway. So Anthony, I don't think I was in love with him, but I think that I was in love with Larry. That was probably because he could sing. You know what I mean? He used to sing. He used to sound like KC from Jodeci. And so he was a gospel singer, and he was like, kind of in a popular group. And he would sing. Everybody that know me remember Anthony used to be singing.
Ellen, I can't think of a time in your life when you didn't have a man. I cannot think of one time for not even 5 minutes when you ain't have a man.
Been one. I was
It was always a man, and then it was always somebody in the back burner waiting. It was always somebody waiting.
Don't say that. I'm gonna edit that out. No, I'm just kidding.
No, leave that in.
There's always somebody waiting, like, he better not mess up. I'm on that.
Bet not.
He's like, I'm on that. I'm like, I'm like, I ain't never seen somebody kept a man. Yeah,
But
for
you know what?
sure.
And I do believe that has to do with how I was raised and the fact that I think that you need to treat men right. Every man, every boyfriend that I've been with, even now, if I were to talk to him, they would say that I was a good girlfriend. Even though that I wasn't married to them, I was a good friend. I was friends with everybody I was in a relationship with first. I think I was their friend. And everybody that they had been with prior to me, they was just probably just sleeping with. It wasn't a friendship. And I think that I brought that to every guy that I've been with. And that's why they still, I had to block them, but they sliding in my DMs and trying to bring up old stuff.
Oh, stuff.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Well, you know,
it's
something
over.
you just said is real huge that I don't hear women say too often.
Mm-hmm.
You said they have said that you were a good woman. In other words, you didn't say it to say, I know I was a good woman. And a lot of times you hear that and they, well, what made you a good woman? And they can't. The person that dictates whether you were a good man or a good woman is the other person you were
The
talking
other
to.
person, yeah,
Right.
The
not
other
me.
person. It's
Right.
not you. You know, I could say all day long, man, I was the best man ever. I did this, that, and the other. But if that isn't what the women I was involved with valued,
Right.
then I wasn't a good man.
Even
It's about
my ex Larry, he went to jail for 20 some years. He even made amends with me. And he said he got out of prison. He found me on Facebook and he said, I know you moved on with your life and everything, but I just want you to know that you're the only example I ever had in my life of a good girlfriend. And I was like, wow. I said, well, thank you so much. Click. But you know, I mean, I'm okay with that. And I'm like, look, I try to treat people like I want them to treat me. And or along that route, you find people that try to push you and destroy you. I'm a very happy person, at least 95% of the time. But there is that 5% that you got to watch out for. And sometimes people really that are drawn to more negativity, they want to see that 5%. Like, why is she so happy? Well, maybe because I got a wonderful life. I got wonderful people in my life and people that care about me and support me. And I do what I want to do and kind of live my life with free spirited. And people don't like that. And they want to make you mad. Their little 5% they want to bring out of you, you know. So you got to watch them people. And that's why I keep my circle small and, you know, and try not to be vulnerable to that, you know, that kind of behavior. You know what I'm saying?
well, you know, it's all good. You just got to sit down and always get to know the people we're going to be involved with. That's it. That's that. We started it off with that.
If they
That's where
ain't
that
late,
combality
if
it
they
comes
ain't
in.
late, if they ain't late, if they late, then you don't even want to get involved.
No, it's over. Yeah, it's over for me. I'm like, yeah, she late. I'm good, man.
If they late, you'll be like,
I'm just saying, man.
that is so funny. You said you told her. You was like, I'm still there. Come on.
Yeah, man, I do all that stuff, man. I ain't about to sit
That
down
is
and waste my
funny though.
time.
Come on.
Just like I've had I've had girls get mad and oh, that's what it is. So you don't want me late. So you just controlling. You this, you that. And I'm straight and they get mad and no, don't want to talk to me no more. And I just say, that's cool. We don't have to talk anymore. I respect that. But, you know, bye-bye. And I swear it'd be 2, maybe 3 days. I miss you. Can we talk? Can we go out? Can we? Nah, I'm good on it. It's just,
That's because they want to come
yeah,
over
I'm
there and sleep
good.
on that sleep
I'm
number and they
good.
Tempur-Pedic. That's why they want to come over there and sleep on that Tempur-Pedic or sleep number or whatever you got.
Man, I'll need that back booty rest that I got my daughter.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it's got the doggone vibrate massager in it, the heater, and it go up and down at the feet. And my daughter got a better bed than me. Just don't never buy a
He
sleep
should.
number.
That's a good father.
Man, the sleep number sucks. I'm taking my sleep number bed, putting it in the guest room.
My
And I'm
mama said,
getting me a
like
king size bed like my daughter's bed. Man, that bed is out cold. I need that.
my daddy got a sleep number and it's nice.
I don't like it. I can't stand it. I want to give man away. I can't stand that sleep number.
Oh my God.
But I can't stand that thing. That sleep number sucks. That's the worst expensive bed on the planet. I can't stand that thing, man. You would just stick with it just because you spent so much money on it.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you when I knew I wasn't gonna like the bed. When I went in and bought the bed, right after they rung me up. This was right after they rung me up and took my money. They said, "Okay, we don't do no exchange, like no returns on the bed." And I'm like, "Why you say that?" And I just bought it. They let me know in the first like 10 minutes after I paid that ain't no return.
Oh, no,
So
I
I'm like,
thought
that's
they
the
get
red
it's
flag.
a
I'm like,
warranty. It's a warranty,
whoa.
not a return.
Huh?
It's a warranty, not a return. You saying?
Yeah. They saying you can't, no refund.
no refund. Yeah.
Like in other words, yeah, we'll fix it if something wrong with it. We got all of that, but you ain't no refund. It's over. Once you done paid, that's it. I'm like, whoa, bro. Now you got me wondering why you saying that. And man, I had so many problems with that bed, man.
Oh my
I
God.
had so many problems.
Got the beauty rest. That's crazy.
Yeah, I want that. I want that black beauty rest like my daughter got with all of the fixings up. Man, that bed so cold. Man, I need
That's
that.
crazy.
I need
Hey,
that
so
in my life.
I want to ask y'all one more question. Okay, when what was y'all fondest memory in high school? If y'all could think of like something that stand out to y'all like in high school.
Dang, just one?
Well, you could think of a couple. I mean, it's hard.
Just one.
But it's some things like you remember, like I remember, like say like y'all used to work at Sbarro's. I used to come up there. Y'all used to always give me some free food.
Man, I don't know how Sbarro's made any money. We gave all the food away. We gave all the food. Everybody came down and got free pizza at Sbarro's.
I remember
the girls from Cass Tech and the girls from Mumford, when they came through Trappers Alley, man, I'm looking like that was how I got on.
Yeah.
Like, girl, come get you a slice. Throw your number on that little box.
Used to be in there like 2 million.
Get you a slice. Get you a slice, baby.
That was
crazy.
That
was
a good day. Remember when you used to take me to the hair salon, you and Donnie? And
yeah.
Grand Illusions to get my hair done. I remember that. I don't know. I just remember so many. I remember
Trappers Alley. I remember Sibley
Shoes. Remember the pieces in the that they used to have in the cafeteria. Them school pieces.
Oh, that was the best pizza. I still want to learn how to make that. The square pizza with the little sausage on it. Oh, that's pizza, man.
Yeah, that's a good pizza. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would kill for some of Mr. I would kill for some of Mr. Winfield's popcorn with the hot sauce.
Oh yeah. We was talking about that when Marquita was on the show last week.
Man, yeah, Mr. Winfield.
Yes.
I miss some of the disciplinary tactics that they were allowed to do back then. We hated it then, but when I look back now, I would rather, man, OT would slam you and take you to the track, run you, or, Coach Wren would cuss you out and, they'd work you. Coach Ward swatted us with that damn paddle for every minute we was late for practice. But it taught us discipline.
It did.
And when we got disciplined as we got older, those things stuck with us. Man, I love Coach Ward. He believed in me before any other coach did. And I just do. I love my teammates. Donnie was not just a brother, but the person I looked up to. Like, man, Donnell was like Jordan to me in high school. Man, he was Jordan, man. So Donnie, man, even when I got good, the one person I never felt like I could play better than always has been Donnell. You would ask me to this day, I'm never as good as him. I never feel like I'm as good as him. I never feel I can get the better of him. I always feel he's like that measuring rod that I always wanted to strive to be when it came down to that. I mean, I used to want to dress like Donnie. I wanted to walk like Donnie. I wanted to be
you did
Donnie.
Dress like him. It seemed like y'all used to dress like
that's where it came from. I wanted to dress like Donnie. So, he was like Jordan to me. So that's how. But if I didn't have that person to look up to, it's no telling, because I went from a 0.7 to like a 3.4 just because I was trying to be like Donnie. I went from never making the times, never wanting to go play ball or anything, to making the times and running until I could make the times because I wanted to be like him. So in certain aspects, Donnell really saved my life. So that might have been my most fond memory was, my brotherhood with him. And where those things took me. That was for sure. So to this day, he's one of the few guys to where, like, I will let Donnell overtalk me. I will stop when he talks. My respect level for him is high. If he's like, no, we not doing this, I'll shut the fuck up and we not doing it, because I always look up to him and have that respect for him to where, it's just certain things he could do. Can't nobody else say that to me or talk to me. But if he say it, it's like Debo. All right, I'll shut the fuck up. When he leave, I'll be talking again. I'll be talking again. But it's just the respect I got for him like that. I always have, always will, and that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying?
Brotherhood too.
Yeah, for sure.
We had a beautiful friendship, and like I said, from y'all, I learned. Y'all give me a standard, and if you say, "Why I ain't never been alone," because that's my standard. I've been around good people, good men, good people, and I don't want nobody raggedy. And I've been around good people. I don't want nobody raggedy.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be with y'all with somebody raggedy. I can't even. That ain't even gonna work.
Man, I feel you. I just hope we can, just as a culture, get past this black men against black women phase that I see so bad now. I mean, we act like we hate each other, man. It's crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you guys. It was a little podcast that was with Cam Newton and this guy named Ace Metaphor, and they were talking about why talking about the men really don't like women.
Some of them, okay.
Yeah, they talking about some of the men really don't like women. They
in the industry, a lot of them
have children by them, sleep with them and things of that nature, but they really truly don't like them.
Yeah.
Are you saying they don't like them in the regard of from a sexual preference, or they don't like them because of how beefed out they've been with them? Those are two different things.
They don't like them like sexually. If they have sex with them, they like the feeling of having sex with them, and having babies by them. But when it comes to like really loving a woman, they really don't like them like that.
That's what they say. I seen some.
I don't think the men and women like each other, period, today. And I think a lot of it is because we don't accept our differences.
Right,
I mean, when I hear some of the things that men complain about with sisters or with women, I think to myself, like, well, she's a woman, I expect her to be emotional. I expect her to, ask a lot of questions. I expect for her to want to stick her fork in my food. I ain't gonna let her, but I don't get mad when she want to.
Right.
I expect her to not know what she want to eat and then swear up and down she didn't want anything, but now I get back, she expected you to get us. I know how women are.
She wants some of yours.
And I don't see how a woman can't respect or understand some of the things that are in male nature.
Right.
That is how we are. It's like you have to know how to pick your battles. I think that's something I noticed my mom did. She didn't make everything a battle. My father could be wrong, and she still would say, I know that's right, baby. Okay. Yeah. She let him feel like he was right sometimes. Yeah. Even if she wasn't gonna sit and argue. So it's like, I don't get this debate. I think that if we put ourselves in the position to bring the package that attracts what we're looking for, then you will have way more options and you accept our differences, and we won't sit up here and be so beefed out. Because I love my sisters now. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. I love black women now. That's true.
Yeah,
it's a lot of men and women. They just disrespectful towards one another, and I'm like, why is that? Why are so many black women disrespected by the black man?
Yeah.
I think it's both ways. I mean, when I look at it, because when I look at respect, the person that values respect most is men. We value being respected. We look at love as when we are respected. If a woman is has the utmost respect for you, and you letting that man know that pretty much what he said, I'm following or whatever it may be, he feels super loved.
Right.
And when you feel protected and taken care of, you feel loved.
Exactly.
You know, so but we have to accept those differences in how we even perceive love.
Right.
We can't say, well, because this is what I think love is, that's how she's supposed to want it. Or this is what I think love is, that's how he's supposed to want it. No, you gotta understand how men and women perceive love. And you gotta respect each other, period. So if someone says, well, if she acts like wifey material, then I'll protect her. No, if that's not in you, then that's just not in you. Or if he's the right man, then I'll act like what a wife should be. No, then you just not a person who we're gonna be with each other based off what we're already seeing. That's what's attracting us to you in the first place.
Right.
If I'm looking at you and it's like, well, trust me, I'll be different if you show me a reason to be. I'm not gonna wait around for that.
Right.
And I'm never gonna let someone make me be something that I'm not. So in other words, so I'll give you a scenario. If you as a young lady say, I really want to be in a relationship with this man, and I want to be with a man, and it's just gonna be us in a monogamous relationship, period, that's it. And you meet a guy that you really like, but he's a ladies' man. And he says, you know what? I don't want to be in a serious relationship. I just want to do my thing. And she says, okay, you can do your thing and I'm gonna do my thing too, right? And then she'll say something like, well, you know, I'm not with him. I just fuck with him real heavy.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest comment I ever heard. That's like saying, I don't work there. I just be there for 40 hours a week. Look, I mean, look, the reality is you let yourself get taken off of the square of what you were looking for based off of what he wants, instead of saying, I'm gonna go a different direction.
Right.
What you said is, I'm gonna match his energy, like you're gonna teach him a lesson. And now you're really gonna be pissed because you wasn't really on that. You just trying to match his energy and it is what it is, or maybe I can change him. No, if he's not on that level or that page of where you're trying to go, then he might just not be the one for you. And that's the same thing for a brother. If she not what it is you're looking for, don't change her. Go look elsewhere.
That's right.
Just go look elsewhere. That's all it is. And that's what I see that
say that again.
a lot.
Say that again, Jeff, because a lot of people do that. They be like, well, he don't do this, or he don't do that, or he, you know, he nasty, or he Well, you gonna have to walk away from that. Those is habits that's hard to get somebody. If they nasty, they ain't gonna churn to clean like that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad you made an example, because I think that what we don't do is have realistic expectations. We will have expectations not real. Now, you have the right to do it. I can say right now, I ain't having sex again unless it's with a threesome with Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. I got the right to say that, but it probably ain't gonna happen.
Right.
It ain't gonna happen, but I have the right to say that.
No.
But what all I'm saying is, I noticed that so many people have expectations that ain't realistic.
Yeah.
You know, so if I'm a man that lives in the basement in my mama's crib, and you know, I call myself a swiper that's swiping about $50 worth of merchandise a week. So I'm a low level criminal. I'm out of shape. I weigh 350, 400 pounds, and I'm 5'4". But I want a woman that look like Beyonce, who got her own crib, who gonna accept me for me and respect me and treat me good, and I can come home and let her have all my problems and tell her that's not realistic, brother. As much as guys say, I don't like these women that just want money, there's a place for them too, and I'm gonna tell you why. You got a son, right?
Yeah.
If your son at 27, 26, whatever, hit the lottery for $600 million, $700 million, right? He hit the lottery. And he took the big payout where he got paid everything, $300 million.
Right.
When he come home, 3 months later, after traveling and kicking it, he pull up in his Lamborghini. How do you expect the woman to look on the other side?
She better look pretty good.
and you can't run from that too. And women are always judged on their looks, and that's an unfair thing that you guys.
That's kind of what I was saying to you about the bigness of you and all of that.
But think about this. If a woman, okay, so let's say all 4 of us are at the house right now. Your son calls, oh man, I'm home from school. Mama, this girl I've been dating for a long time. I really like her. Boom, 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 boom. When he brings her home, all we're gonna look at is we're gonna say how she looked. And you're gonna, if he don't hear this, oh, she's pretty, it's over. If don't nobody say that, it's over. Now, vice versa, if you have a daughter and she brings a man home,
right?
We care about what he does for a living.
Or
we care about this. We care about how he can carry himself to be able to protect himself out there in the streets. Do we got to worry about her not making it home when she go out there with you?
Yeah.
And those things never leave. We don't like to accept that. But if I come to your house and you're married and me and my friends come over there and your house is filthy, I don't care whose fault it is. He don't look bad. You do as the woman of the house.
Yes, that's true.
But if you and him have to go to your parents' house because the electricity got cut off from failure to be able to pay the bills, he looks bad. It doesn't matter if you lost the money and it was your fault. The fact that that bill wasn't paid and you got to go to your parents' house to stay, he looks bad. So no matter how much we run from things, there are certain things that are just going to be held over men's heads and women's heads. And that is just how it is. And that's where I say realistic expectations come in. So if you know you're going to look at that woman and say, ooh, how does she look? Y'all going to look at that when that boy bring that daughter home. Then why the hell don't you care about how you look? And then if you look in that mirror and you a 3, why are you saying I should be entitled to a man that makes $600,000 a year, that's gonna spoil me and fly me all around the world and make sure I don't need or want for nothing? And even though I got 4 kids by 4 different women, that's what I deserve. That's not a realistic expectation.
Right.
You know, just like the guy living in the mama basement. It's just not realistic. And that's the problem I see a lot too. It's like, you know, be realistic with what you expect, period. I see that as men and women. I don't take sides. I see it on both sides.
Yeah, I do. I agree with that. And I mean, you know, I'm looking at all of this stuff going on with Diddy and Cassie and all of that. And it's just, you know, their relationship was strange, but it has taught me something. It's like, it don't matter if it's over. People still, nowadays, people still can have stuff on you, even years later. You know what I'm saying? Like you with somebody. I'm glad all of the smartphone years I've been married, because being in relations, you don't know who recording. You don't know who hiding or what Airbnb you staying at, and they recording you. You know what I'm saying? Or got cameras or whatever. So I just worry about that. You know, I worry about, you know, with dating now and going, and people I'm watching this show. I'm always watching some show on Netflix. It's called Forever. It's like a little mini series, but it's about these young couples. And the boy got ADHD, and they about to graduate from high school and everything, and they first loves. It's a good little show. Y'all should watch it. But, you know, the girl has an issue because of a sex tape. She didn't know her high school boyfriend. They made a sex tape. It was supposed to be just for them. Of course, he sends it to his friend, who sends it to 1,000 other people. It ruins this girl, you know? And so, but it made me think about it. Like, I ain't have to grow up during the time where they had cameras and all of this stuff where they could record me. I wouldn't want to be dating, not for fear of that getting conversations recorded or whatever. You know what I'm saying? People is in that, you know what I'm saying? I be having, they showing me text somebody sent them and got evidence. Look what he said. And I'm like, we ain't have no snapshot. You had to remember.
Right.
Somebody said.
Everybody have receipts. They keep receipts on everything that people do out here.
And I hate that.
Yep, they do.
I don't like all that where you could have something to hold over me. But back to what Jeff was saying, the reason that I always had a man is because of those things that you said. It's because I got a mama that always had a man. And she knows how to treat, and she taught me how to treat men. My brother is always respected. And when he got 4 sisters, so when he come over and he eat, we make his plate. That's my brother. As long as I got it, but even though if we don't make it, his wife make it. But it don't matter. I say you want me to make it because that's my brother. And if Jeff come on my house, he already knows. Love my mama, she gonna feed him or whatever. We gonna, you know what I mean? We know how to treat people. And you have to know how to treat people if you want to be with somebody. Because you're gonna be alone if you don't. I ain't saying that you gotta know how to arch your back, but you gotta know how to do that.
No, get back on. I'm still on. Get back on.
You gotta know how to arch your back a little bit, and you do. And you gotta learn.
Who you say gotta know how to arch their back? I ain't arching no damn back.
No, me, women. I'm talking about
women.
You're so crazy. But I'm just saying, you do have to know how to be a lady, and you gotta know how to cater to your man, like Beyonce say.
That's right. Gotta cater to that your man.
You gotta cater to your man. If you don't know how to do that, then I'm sorry, you're gonna always be looking. And and I think that, and then it comes to your standards. But I would rather, and I'm sure y'all would agree with this, be alone than settle for less than my standards. I'd rather be alone. I don't care how long. I ain't did it that long. but
but when you say that, I hear that a lot of people say that. The only reason that it's very acceptable from you is because your standards are realistic. I have noticed, now this one, I don't want to say I'm taking sides, but because I date the women and not the men, I got to say one thing I've noticed there. A lot of time I come often I hear this long laundry list of standards that they're looking for. But then when I ask them, what do you think makes a man happy? Or what do you think a man would want from you? I never say what you bring to the table. Because I just don't like the format of that question. But I would say, what do you think it is that a man values in you or want from you? What is it that, what do you think makes him happy? And the list is never long. But I'll hear this long laundry list. And that's where it comes back to when we first got on the phone, when I said, on this call, if my focus is on everything that makes you happy, and your focus is on what makes me happy, who's not happy? Everybody's happy then. I think it's really that simple. It sounds crazy, but everybody's happy. But when you don't have realistic expectations, and I hear
happy.
Yeah. When I hear someone saying I need all my standards met, and the standards are just so unrealistic, I see that so often. I'm like, oh man, get out of here. That's what I'm thinking. But with you, yours is pretty much what I would say is realistic.
Yeah. Zero. Coke Zero. Look, we
I'm married. Hey, I didn't have to. I told her 7:30. It's like,
hey, look, you gotta meet
I'm being
each
asked
other.
to do stuff.
Right.
My son, it's
I know. Hey, look, that's why I like the way we do this. We make it work around our schedule. We did 2 podcasts today, y'all. We did good. We did real good.
Have we ever done 2 in a?
No, we never did 2 in a day, but it was worth it. I'm telling you, I got to hang with my people.
This is dope. This is dope.
Elijah going to the prom tomorrow, so I got to go to take him, go to Kohl's and give him some no-show socks. And get him some no-show socks so he can have his little prom. I'm gonna have some pictures online and stuff tomorrow. My baby going to the prom. I'm excited for him.
And the girl that he taking, guess what we looking at?
What she look at her
What she look like? That's
What she look like,
and
exactly.
that's what like, okay,
And she
okay,
a
good
pretty
pick,
girl
Junior.
too.
Good pick, Junior. There's no way to escape it. That's all everybody looking like.
Yeah, and they like, well, what is Elijah gonna do? Look, and he like, I'm going to school for cybersecurity. They're like, okay.
That's what they looking at.
Yeah, what he gonna do with his life? That's what they looking at.
Her you doggone right.
Right.
Yeah, but don't get it twisted though. As much as we talk about, men being looks driven, women are looks driven too. I had to learn that. I got a couple of friends of mine that let me tell you. I had a friend of mine named Boo, another friend of mine named Eddie Drummond.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching poetry in motion when you go out with these guys and the girls be on. I've never seen nothing like it. I just sit in the back and I'm like, I ain't never seen nothing like it. It's crazy. And it made me look and learn, look at women a lot differently.
Yeah.
These women were willing to do whatever that day when they met them just because of how attracted to them visually that they were.
What about
that
man that killed the guy that killed everybody taking up for because he fine? The one that shot the guy from United Health. You know that guy? What's his name? The Italian guy. You know who I'm talking about.
He shot somebody?
He killed the CEO of United Healthcare.
I think I know.
I don't know. I was going back when you talk about somebody that was killing people.
I remember
that was Ted Bundy.
The guy he out there now. What's his name?
Oh, you saying of recent news?
Yes. And the real nice looking guy. Everybody been trying to protest and everything. Giovanni, I forget what his name was.
Oh, wow.
I forget. But anyway, that guy, everybody is trying to take care of him because he is handsome. And he's a killer. He killed this man. You know what I'm talking about, Neff, don't you?
I forgot his name. I know you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, and they got him all on social media and everything, and they be showing him looking close-ups because he, like a handsome guy. I was like, man, that show you that the devil can look good. You better be careful. I'm telling you, I don't play with that. You can't just be all about looks, because I'm telling you, because them looks are fade.
Sure
like
does.
I'm telling you, I ain't trying to be funny, but when I married my husband, he had blonde hair, and now it's great.
Hey, Helen, I got a question for you.
Yeah,
I got a question for you, Helen.
Sure.
Let's see how well you do on this question here.
Okay.
So, if a man went to a bar, and it's for you too. This for you too, Nat. So, say, man went to a bar, and his goal that night was to flat out sleep with a woman. He was trying to get him something that night. Okay. Do you feel he would have his best chance with a married girl, a girl in a relationship, or the single woman trying to approach him at the bar? And his goal that night is to end up in the bedroom. Who do you think he'd have the best chance at succeeding with his goal?
The woman in the relationship.
Okay, why do you say the relationship?
Because she's not totally committed, but not committed yet. So she feels like, well, she's at that stage where she's not sure. So if somebody come along that's better than what she got, and I think that she would.
All right, now what you think? What do you think? I'd love to hear what you think too.
I would pretty much go with what Helen said, a woman in a relationship, because some of these women in relationships, they tend to see who's better in bed
compared to their man.
And they just want to see how it is.
Okay, I'm about to tell you why both of y'all are wrong.
Okay.
It's the married woman.
Oh.
First off, the married woman is even at the. Yeah, maybe not you, But we said the best chance. So you might be that first one, but maybe that second, third. Most married women at the bar, they not at the bar trying to meet somebody to have a relationship with, call or whatever. So if they do something, it's gonna be that night. That's the first
you
thing.
did say it. Okay.
We saying he coming to get it that night. Somebody who in a relationship, they got that might be somebody they could potentially also be in a relationship with. That married woman, she trying to hit it and quit it. Don't fall in love that night.
She gonna go back home to her husband.
The woman who's single, she looking for the man that got that long laundry list of stuff that she looking for. So when he come to that bar, he got to be a certain height. He got to, she looking for the guy that make whatever money it is and how he's dressed and is he gonna be a good father? Is he God-fearing? Whereas that woman that's married, she getting about 80% of what she want. The guy at home might be a little boring and not that funny.
Hey, you know what? We might both be right, Jeff. He might get it from both of them.
That might be true, but the reality is who he has the easier chance.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that
it's the married one.
It's been the married one. Like when I've gone out, and if that was my goal, I had way more success with the married women than I did with the women in relationships or that was single. You had to put in way more work for the women that were single.
Yep.
And the women that was in the relationship.
You didn't feel any moral guilt for that though?
But no, not really. I was single. I'm single. You know what I'm saying? So
I wanted to say that to get your response.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I'm single. I really didn't, you know. I heard something on the internet here too that I found pretty interesting. I found it real interesting, and I never thought of it this way. I was always one that thought women cheated better than men, right? I actually always agreed with that. Mm-hmm. And I had a gentleman, he on his little podcast I was watching, and he told the woman that he don't believe that women cheat better than men. And she said, whatever, we'll sit down and tell our man that we're going to go get groceries, and then tell the other guy to go buy some groceries right quick, and then meet him there, got a grocery, come home. And I had a young lady who would come to my house. She told her man she going to the gym to work out. She'd come here and take a shower here because she didn't live far.
Oh.
Right.
But what the guy said was, no, women don't cheat better. He said what it is that the men that they cheat with, they don't get emotionally attached. So they're not leaving makeup or lipstick at the house. If that man will sit in front of you and won't let on to nothing. If a man call him, he ain't saying nothing. Whereas the woman that the man is cheating with, she kind of wants to be with that guy now a little bit. She might do some things that's going to start some stuff. Or if she get a call, that's not going to be no 2-minute conversation or no denial. She's going to talk for 2 hours to that woman. And they're going to let it all go back. So when he said that, I thought about it and said, he's right. I never thought of it that way. I've always thought that women were just better at cheating than men. But I thought about it and said, no, the men that they cheat with ain't never going to say nothing. They quiet as a mouse. Like, I ain't did nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas the women ain't quiet. They want people to know that, that's right. Yeah, her man be at my house, whatever. And he'll be, they want people to know. And that's where he's getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of it that way. I've never thought of that until I saw that on the podcast when he said that. I never thought of it that way.
Wow. Damn.
Look at you. You about to eat dinner. We've been on this call for about 2-3 hours now. It's dinner time.
I love y'all. I'm about to go.
We're gonna edit the hell out this podcast, Helen. We're gonna cut so much stuff out.
I don't be doing all that editing. It's gonna be raw.
Really?
Everything you said, Jeff.
Oh man.
And uncut.
We gonna make it. We're gonna make
Yeah,
it raw.
the way you like it, raw and uncut.
Raw and uncut.
You know, raw and uncut. Hey, look, Rob. Let me. Okay.
Rob said,
y'all, hold on. Wait a minute, let me stop. That's a wrap for this episode of the What Up Doe podcast. Big shout out to our guests, of course. Thank you for rocking with us. If you laughed, learned something, or just felt the vibe, make sure to like, share, and subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. Follow us on social media to stay locked in and hit that bell so you never miss an episode. Got a topic you want us to dive into? Slide into the DMs and drop us a comment. We're here for it. Until next time, stay real, stay rooted, and as always, what up, though?